For this project, we're going to be paper macheing over clay. And then we'll end up cutting the clay in half, or the paper mache in half, and then you'll paper mache it back together. So that might be confusing, but what we are going to first start with is you're going to get a ball of clay, and then you are going to make it into whatever kind of thing you want. So here are some ideas. You could do like the letter of your name, maybe like an animal, but it needs to be something very simple. I did a donut, so think about food, or like here's another animal that's kind of a little harder. But you're gonna use the clay and you'll shape it in to what you would like to do. So if I want to do a letter of a name, I'm gonna use the clay and try and shape it to be like that. And then you want your pieces to be very like simple. So it can't have like a lot of details. So you don't have to worry about like making tiny little eyes. It just has to be kind of a simple shape of it. If you have too much details, you're not going to be able to see them with the paper mache. So when I like stick on my pieces for my son, I'm going to kind of smooth them into each other. And then I'm going to keep on going. Okay, whenever you have your shape of what you would like, you're gonna start paper macheing over it. So I'm gonna show you with this little donut. So we need our paper and we need the paper mache paste. So with our paper strips are gonna have to be tiny. So I'm gonna just tear these to make them nice and small because my paper mache is small. Okay. Now I'm gonna need around 5 layers. So I'm gonna get my glue out. Let's see. And since what I'm working with is pretty small, I'm just gonna get a little bit on my fingers, rub them together, okay? Your hands shouldn't be dripping with paper mache paste. You just need kind of a little, and since we're working on this and it's tiny, you don't need a lot. And then now I'm gonna get the paper mache paste on both sides of my paper, and then we are gonna start covering this. So with this hole, I had to make sure I get all the sides. And I'm just gonna keep covering. So I'm gonna get glue on this piece, both sides, and keep covering. So I need around 5 layers. Since it's a small piece, it shouldn't take that long, but we have to make sure we get the inside and the outsides. Then if any of your paper has like ink or something, try and put that face down so it's white facing up. So I'm gonna put this, I want my ink to be face down and the white up, because when we paint this, it's going to be easier to paint. So then also when I'm putting this on, I am smoothing out the paper. There's always going to be a little bit of wrinkles, but if we can try and just at least smooth it so there's not huge wrinkles, it'll look a lot better. All right, so I put on a lot of pieces with the same amount of glue. Whenever I need more glue, I'm going to just dip my fingers just a little bit, but we don't need globs of glue. Okay. You will keep on adding paper till you have it covered around like 5 times. The more paper, the better, because it's gonna make it stronger. But we only need around like 5 layers. So then after that, then it has to dry. All right, and then I'm gonna show you where we're gonna leave it to dry. All right, so we're gonna put it on a plate. Since it's tiny, you can put a couple other of your classmates on the same plate. Just make sure you take off some tape. I should probably have clean hands for this. Or you can do this beforehand. And you're gonna write your name on that piece of tape. That way we know it's yours. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this, but that is how you do the paper mache. All right, once you think you have all your layers on, you are gonna just take a final little smooth. So you're just gonna rub your hands over all the paper to make sure you have all the paper like sticking to each other and make sure it's nice and smooth. So I'm just rubbing my hands over the whole thing. I'm thinking I have 5 layers. If you don't have 5 layers, it is gonna break, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna keep smoothing it down so that way everything, there's no paper sticking up. All right, then I'm gonna let it dry. Once it is dry, the teacher is gonna cut it in half with the X-Acto knife and take out all the clay. Once the clay is out, and you're gonna have 2 pieces, and you're gonna have to put it back together in paper mache. So it's like we're almost bandaging the 2 joints. So we're gonna paper mache over the little cut lines one more time. So we're gonna probably add around 2 layers over just the cut line just to make it strong. It's like you're basically bandaging it back together. So line it up, and then I have 2 cut lines, so I have to put it on both. So I'm gonna just paper mache these back together. Once you got it paper mache'd all back together, you're gonna let it dry, and then once it's dry, there's no clay inside, you are ready to start painting.